Thanks, Ayuk. Hey, guys. Um, how are you all? Had lunch? That's nice. So, my first slide, that's me. A few years back, actually a couple of years back, when I was doing technical support, when I actually started doing technical support, I definitely didn't use WP-CLI at that point. I even didn't know what WP-CLI is. But today, I'm here to speak about it because I think that everyone should be using that. So if you don't know what WP-CLI is or what WP-CLI Beast is, don't worry. We are going to talk about it, and you will know. Before we know about it, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Aditya Shah, and I'm a software engineer. I currently manage the hosting support team at WPMUDEV. We make plugins for WordPress as well as hosting. Um, I'm also the founder, or you can say the meetup organizer for WordPress Bhopal community. And I'm working with WordPress for more than 10 years now. That's all about me. So we can just proceed with WP-CLI because we have got a limited time, right? So some questions like what WP-CLI is, why WP-CLI, who this is for, like who can use it, and what would you need to use WP-CLI. Let's start then. So what is WP-CLI? It's a command line tool to use WordPress by utilizing the command line or the terminal that you have in your laptop or your computers, right? For example, like you want to bulk update a lot of posts, so you can just write a simple command, and you can update all of the posts. Or you want to install plugins, you can just write a single command, and the plugin will be installed for you. So we'll see what, how, why, and everything. So why WP-CLI? First reason is when you want to migrate a site, you can make good utilization of WP-CLI. Like there are a couple of things. For example, like when you want to migrate a site, you want to transfer all of the files, then you want to transfer the database. So WP-CLI makes it very easy because you have got like the SSH access normally, and you can just zip the files and export the database and transfer it directly, right? So when it comes to transferring files and database, you can do it without WP-CLI as well. But then it's tough because you need to learn a lot of Linux things. For example, MySQL, and then different things, right? So when it comes to WP-CLI, you can use a simple command like WP-DB export, which will export the database for you. And then you can zip the files and just transfer it somewhere with a duplicate and install it with WP-DB import. So that's how you can just quickly migrate a site, right? Second reason is performing fewer steps. Like for example, when we were talking about migration, when we used to migrate a site previously, we have to use a file manager or like a SSH for zipping the files. And then we had to go to phpMyAdmin to export the database. And then we had to transfer and import, going to different steps to open those applications. But when it comes to WP-CLI, you can just do 3 commands and you are done. So it takes fewer steps. I'll also give some more examples of how it takes fewer steps. Next one is it actually gives better control of what you can do. We can talk about it again later on. Then it comes to background jobs. So for example, you wanna do some sort of activity. For example, you want to compress images on your website, it actually requires you to go to the UI and then turn on the optimizations, and you have to stick to that page or something like that. But when it comes to WP-CLI, you can just run a command in screen and then forget about it. And it will just run in the background, and that's done, right? So next thing, who this is for? What are you guys? Some might be developers, some might be engineers, some might be support engineers, some might be server administrators, um, or you might be a site administrator. You just have a single site, right? So when it comes to support engineers, it reduces a number of steps. For example, again, like a customer comes to you, ask, like, can you export the database for me? Instead of asking them for access of their hosting site, or like then navigating, because like every host is a different host, right? So you have to search for that specific setting where how you can open PHP-MyAdmin, or how you can establish connection to access their database. You can just ask for SSH access, go to their, like log into SSH and run a WPDB export, and that's it. So that's how support engineers do things. Then it comes to server administrators. So it is helpful because you can perform a lot of activities. For example, you have got a website where it is infected with malwares, and you want to do multiple steps, like you want to replace the WordPress core, you want to replace all of the files that are plugins, you want to replace all of the themes, you want to replace, or you want to like delete all of the extra files that might be there. So what you can do is you can make a bash script, and you write all of the commands there in the bash script, and run that bash script. So it will do automatically, or it will automatically do all of the things for you. So that's how things are done by server administrators, because like they know bash. But like server site administrator or like normal people don't know that. So yeah, that's how they can be benefited from it. Next is site administrators. Like, I have got single site. What I can do about it? Like, how can WP-CLI benefit me? So anyone remembers, you might have forgotten your WP admin username and password? Yep. So, or maybe just password or anything. So what you can do is SSH into the server, run a simple command like WP user list. It will list down all of the users. So that way you know who is the administrator, who is the editor. So you remember, like, this is my username. Now, when you forgot your password, you had to go to PHP-MyAdmin, go to the users table, and then change the password from there. So instead of learning all of these steps, you can run a simple command, WP user update. Then you can give the parameters, like to change the new password, just specify the new password, and that's changed for you. And then you can just log in with that username and that password. So that's how you can be benefit out of this WP-CLI. There are plenty of examples, but I don't think that we can really cover all of them here. So that's one. And I think that's that. No. So let's get started. Like, when you say like you don't know or you want to start with WP-CLI, you just have to install WP-CLI on your server or your computer when you want to use it. So what it requires Unix-like environment, or Linux, or Windows, or whatever. And it requires WordPress, it requires PHP. Well, there are basically just single command that you can find on the wpcli.org. Just one single wget command, and as soon as you copy and paste that command in your command line, it will just get installed. That's that. You don't need to do anything else. It's that easy. Now, Talking about how to run commands, like I have installed the WP-CLI now what? So every WP-CLI command starts with WP as the keyword. Then the command comes. For example, I said WP user list. So WP is WP-CLI. And then the command user is the command. Then there is subcommand. So I said WP user list. So I want to list all of the users. So command is the user. And list is the subcommand. Now, this should be listing uh, all of the users, right? But then I might want to specify some more parameters to it. For example, I want to list down only the administrators. So what I'll do is WP user list hyphen hyphen type equals to administrator. So similarly, like this is how the commands work. Next one. So like I was telling you about parameters, and values. So parameters, when it comes to commands, subcommands, and parameters, so parameters are required. Then I said like hyphen hyphen thing. So when it comes to you want to know only the administrators or the editors, that is optional, like if you want to specify things or not. Then it comes to some parameters might require values. For example, um, if you want to change the password, then you might need to specify the password that I want this specific password. So that might be with value or without values. Now we were talking about WP Core, like you want to re-download WP Core, or you want to just download WP Core, so you can do it with WP Core download. Again, there are some more parameters to it, WP Core download, then you just want to skip all of the themes and plugins that comes with WP Core. So you can specify hyphen hyphen and skip hyphen content. So it will download just the WP Core without the themes and plugins. That's how the core commands work. Then it comes to database commands. Those might be WPDB export, like I said, and you can specify the database, like the export file name. Then similarly, we have the import command, WPDB import, and specify which file you have to import. So that's WPDB import and the file name. So it will just import the whole database. And then there's a tool called MySQL, right? So if you want to run any MySQL commands directly into the WP-CLI, you can use WPDB-CLI. It will open the MySQL console, and you can run the actual MySQL commands over there. Then there's a search and replace thing. Ever encountered thing like you want to change the domain of your site? So like, for example, my site was adityashah.com, and I want to change it to aditya.me. So what I'll do is I'll run a search and replace command. So WP, because WP, search hyphen replace. OK. I'll just do it quickly. Can you give one moment? OK. So search replace is like just specify the original URL and the destination URL, like Aditya Shah and then aditya.me, and it will just do the search and replace for me. I guess we don't have time, so I'll just skip post media and create users for now. But I can talk about this and just quickly. So I was telling you about bash command. So we can write bash scripts to specify what all actions I need. Similarly, we can write these loops in bash. I can specify like how many times I want to iterate a single command, and then it can do things for me. Like for example, if you see this one, it will specify the site list. For example, if you have multi-site, you can specify all of the multi-site like sub-sites. For example, like I don't think that there's an example, but like if you have a multi-site and you have hundreds of sites, you can specify that this for loop, and it will list down all of the sub-site URLs. And the WP post list URL is this format count. So for example, I want to count all of the number of sub-sites, so it can just count the number of sub-sites, and it will just give the number. questions? I don't think we have time, but if you have any questions, I will be outside and we can talk about it. And let's connect. I think, thank you.
Aditya?